Liberia is known today for its poverty, violence, and political unrest, but it wasn't always like this. Liberia is a strange country with a very strange history, so now let's look at Liberia and how it became a nation in the first place. Before Liberia was founded, it was mostly inhabited by indigenous tribes. The first European contact with the native Liberians happened in 1462 when a group of Portuguese explorers arrived. The Portuguese explorers then named the then unnamed land Costa da Pimenta, or the Pepper Coast, due to the abundance of pepper in that region. In 1602, the Dutch arrived in the country and set up a trading post, but it was destroyed. The English also set up a settlement there, but it wasn't a very big deal. From then on until the 1820s, when the Americans came to the region, there wouldn't be any other European settlers. Yes, ladies and mostly gentlemen, you did hear that right. America actually came to Africa and set up a colony. So let's go to America now, and I'll explain why. In early 1800s America, slavery was a very large issue. There were many abolitionists who were people opposed to slavery, but at the same time there were a lot of southern slave owners who wanted to continue slavery. These southern slave owners also hated having black people who were freed from slavery in their state, and some of these abolitionists at the time had the idea that it would be way better for the African Americans and for the USA if the black population of the US returned to Africa. So in 1816, a group called the American Colonization Society, or the ACS, was founded for the purpose of transporting free slaves back to Africa. In 1820, the first ACS ship traveled to West Africa. They arrived and settled in a place called Cape Mesurado, which is near modern-day Monrovia, the capital of Liberia. By 1835, a few more ships arrived from separate American colonization organizations, along with a few more ACS ships. So in 1838, all of the settlements in the region came together and formed the Commonwealth of Liberia. It was the first US colony, but from the beginning, there were a good amount of problems in Liberia. Let's go over what they are. The first problem is that not many freed slaves actually wanted to go to Liberia. Most of them wanted better treatment in America, but still wanted to live in America. Frederick Douglass, the most prominent African-American leader at the time, said, "Shame upon the guilty wretches that dare propose, and all that countenance such a proposition. We live here, have lived here, have a right to live here, and mean to live here." So yeah, it wasn't a super popular idea. The other main problem with Liberia was the high mortality rate. At the time, Liberia had a higher mortality rate than any country recorded in history. Out of the 4,500 immigrants to Liberia, only 1,800 would survive to the year 1843. But even though this was the case, the ACS kept sending free blacks to Liberia anyway. Joseph Jenkins Robert, the first non-white governor, was elected, and in 1847, 11 people signed a Declaration of Independence, and the Free and Independent Republic of Liberia was established. Strangely enough, it wasn't until 1862 when the USA finally recognized Liberia as a country, though I guess the British have trouble recognizing their colonies as countries too. From 1847 until 1980, Liberia was controlled by a group called Americo-Liberians, who were the freed slaves from America who came to Liberia. To this day, Americo-Liberians only make up around 4% of the population of Liberia. All these people treated the indigenous Liberians horribly. They viewed the native people of Liberia as racially inferior, and they didn't let them vote. Americo-Liberians also never intermarried with the indigenous people, and they were the only people in the country to receive money from the United States. This allowed them to become wealthy and powerful. They had farms and businesses, while the indigenous people didn't have much. They also controlled the political landscape, and they did so until 1980, when the tyrannical president, William R. Tolbert Jr., was killed, and Samuel Doe, an indigenous Liberian, came to power for the first time in over a century. Since 1980, there have been 2 Liberian civil wars, many coup attempts, and a lot more crazy stuff. But I don't have time to go into that in this video. I hope you enjoyed learning about why Liberia exists. If you did, make sure to subscribe and also make sure to have a great day.